Hey, hey, hey. Time for another Out of This World story from rSpace. For those that think they can't move on and recover, there is life after infidelity. Hey guys, been an onlooker on Reddit for a while now, and have read some stories of betrayal through cheating, seeing so many situations that reminded me of my old pain. But I came out of this in the end. You can too. This is my first ever post, so bear with me if I don't have everything down correctly. Here's the bulk of it. I shared this with another commenter months ago. I really should have made this into an actual post, but I didn't know if I was ready. Sorry it's a bit long. Years ago, I was best friends with this girl. C is her first initial. We knew each other since we were kids. Her family and mine all knew one another, and we were close. The kind that finish each other's sentences close. C and I were always there for each other. I helped her through some crazy stuff. Her mom had a health scare, but everything was okay. And she got me through a bad breakup in high school. C and I had some attraction to each other growing up, but we never acted on it, afraid that something could go wrong and ruin our friendship. Even though she was insanely beautiful, her and her mom and sisters, I kept everything purely platonic. But I would often notice some of her boyfriends she had were a lot like me, and she would always fight with them about comparing me to them. I always felt responsible for these breakups, and told her after her last that maybe we needed to spend more time away from one another so she could figure out what she wanted. She texted me the next day saying she wanted to talk at her house. I got nervous because I didn't know what to expect. She sat me down in her living room and told me everything. That she was in love with me and wanted more than just being friends. At first, I thought it was a joke, because when this happened, it was on April Fool's. Can't make this up. But then she kissed me, and I was hooked. I kept thinking how dumb I was constantly avoiding this chance that I had with her. Little did I know. Things with us were perfect. I literally felt like a king that found his queen. Our families were ecstatic, in full pre-wedding mode even though we were by now first starting college. Her dad said to me with a grin on his face, "About time. I was wondering what was taking so long." We did everything together, had a lot of good times and bad, but we always faced them and never hid anything from each other. Yup. She was really looking like the love of my life material and constantly told me how she would love me forever. I was on cloud 9, until I noticed in later months that she and my younger cousin, male 18, were hanging out a lot recently. My cousin wasn't exactly the most responsible person in the world. His dad left him when he was 8, but I always looked out for him and considered him a little brother. I noticed he would at times look at my girl the way dudes look at any girl they're on the hunt for and calmly ask him what's going on, and he would sheepishly say nothing and walk away. I didn't pay any attention to it at the time. One night when C and I were chilling in my dorm watching a movie, she randomly said, "Please don't ever leave me," in a sad voice. I told her that would never happen, but all she did was give me a sad smile. After that, things started taking a turn. She grew distant and kept withdrawing from me. Even when we had sex, as much as we loved it, it felt like it was becoming a routine to keep me happy instead of keeping us happy. This went on for about 5 months. Then, by Valentine's Day, she was back to normal. All loving, fun, and full attention. I even bought her a diamond necklace with money I saved up. It was a good day, which makes what happened all the more bitter. I had plans that I was going to propose to her that night, but I had forgotten to get the ring from my dorm. After I dropped her off, I went back to my car and checked to see if it was there before I drove away to my dorm, and sure enough, it was there. Dropped it under the seat. As I was getting ready to go back in to surprise her, I saw my cousin drive by and park right in front of her house. My car was in the shadows, so he didn't see me, but he went to the door. C opened it and they were talking. He kept trying to kiss her, and she feebly told him no, but then they were in full makeout mode. She took him by the hand and they went inside. Didn't even bother closing the door fully. I was livid. I actually started breathing hard and heavy. Felt like I was going to pass out. I couldn't believe what I just saw. My heart was telling me to wait before I did anything crazy, but my brain said, finish this. I got out and ran to the door quietly, going inside the house. No sooner did I go in, I hear her in the living room moaning wildly and him grunting. I was seeing red, but I stayed in control. I took up my phone, hit record, quietly walked to a corner of the living room, and saw what I can never unsee. Her riding him, bouncing like some damn banshee. Once I had enough proof, I called out to her, and they both freaked out. She jumped right off of him, and they just looked at me speechless. Then she went into sobbing mode, claiming, "I can explain. Please don't hate us." My cousin was pale, knowing I could easily beat him into oblivion. But I didn't stay around. I showed her the ring, told her, "You threw this away," and left. I got what I needed and just left them. As they chased after me, putting on their clothes, trying to BS their way out of getting caught. Then came the insane text. Things like, "I'm sorry, please talk to me. It's not what you think. You don't know his story. It just happened one time. He was being a good friend. He was helping me and I couldn't tell you. Don't break us. We can fix this. You're being petty and immature." And my favorite, "It didn't even last long." To finish, she tried to shift blame onto me when I didn't respond. But that all went to crap for her when I exposed her. All the fallout was a nuclear mess. Her sisters, except for the youngest, tried to blame me for all of it and trick me into taking her back, but I wasn't having it. Then they told me it was going on for 5 months, around the time I noticed them getting close. She basically kept sleeping with both of us, no protection from him. I knew right there I was done with her. They were barely clothed when I busted them. Her in only her bra, and him in only his dang socks. It was like watching porn only in real time, and me as an unwilling audience. The sounds and things she did with him in that moment, I thought only I could get her excited like that. She claims she always loved my body. I work out a good amount, but seeing her bouncing on his bony butt, I have to admit, made me feel insecure for a time. There was no reconciliation there. All I could think as I'm driving away from them was, what did I do wrong? I gave her everything and got rewarded with her backstabbing. When we were dating, she was on birth control, except for one time I usually wrap up. I was glad I did since my prick cousin went raw on her and probably finished inside her. I never yelled at her, never mistreated or ignored her. If she was happy, I was happy knowing she was happy. We knew each other our whole lives, and I foolishly thought she was the one. One time we went to a tarot card reading at the mall, and the lady there told me that a great love would find me. I told her she already did, referring to C, but she gave my girl a funny look. That should have been one of the red flags right there. Not a day goes by when I'm not thankful I caught her. I would have married her not knowing the kind of person she really was. The aftermath, as I mentioned, was cataclysmic. After I nuked them both, her parents kept blowing up my phone demanding to know what happened, saying C was inconsolable. She made it so I basically told them what happened. Her mom dropped to the floor and her father just kept apologizing to me, saying I didn't deserve this. Sides were made in this and a lot of friendships were broken on both of our families. Her 2 sisters, along with our circle of friends, kept attacking my phone with texts saying I needed to talk to her and take her back, even coming up with some BS excuse about a mental defect she just magically happens to have. Like I should be the one to rug sweep her cheating. She made the decision to cheat on me. Then they told me everything about how and when it happened. Those 5 months, she would tell me that she was making up some overtime at her work and how her coworkers would cover for her. And how nervous he got seeing me when I went to see him and my aunt. I was a trusting fool that always wants to see the best in people, and I got burned for it. C kept calling me constantly. In her voicemails, her voice always sounded tired and strained from her crying and saying that I shouldn't do this. She felt like a part of her died when I left and begged to speak to me, claiming that I swore I'd never leave her. I couldn't allow myself to hear her anymore, so I blocked her. I never responded to any of her messages. My cousin tried a few times to reach me, but I ignored him too. I never forgot the smug smile he threw when I saw him in my rearview window as I drove off. I knew if I saw him, I would want to hurt him, and I could easily do it, and he knew this. But no jail time is worth my freedom. My aunt told me that he felt guilty, yeah right, and told me that he did what he did because he wanted to know what it was like to be me. I was done after that. I want no contact with both of them, moved away and never looked back. I was 22 at the time. She was 20 and he was 18. The first year was tough. I was never cheated on before, and it really messed with my head, but I had plenty of friends to help me out. And my mom and dad were a great support system. My buddies actually took me on a trip with them to France to help clear my head. It was the best thing that happened to me. Seeing the Eiffel Tower, eating some madeleines, and learning some French really helped boost my confidence up. And getting to sketch some French girls nude really gave me the extra boost. Now I'm a 27-year-old graphic designer making good money, enjoying my life. Went on some dates, but nothing concrete. Then a few months ago, one of the last people I expected contacted me. C's youngest sister. Said she got my new number from my parents and wanted to catch up with me. I was always cool with her, so we started texting and catching up. She and I really clicked. It felt new and exciting with her. The last time I saw her, she was a cute skinny kid with braces, but when she sent me a pic of her now, my jaw dropped. She was out of this world stunning. The ladies in her family were always gorgeous, but puberty took its time on her. We recently met up and she hugged me so tight, I honestly didn't want to let her go. We started hanging out a lot and she told me a little info about what happened after I left. Apparently, my cousin did knock up C that night. They decided to try something for the baby, but he cheated on her and then she cheated on him. Things really went south for them when she gave the baby up for adoption. After that, C moved to LA. Don't know or care what happened to my cousin. She said she never forgave her sister for hurting me and said that she used to have fantasies of me and her playing house. She had a crush on me and said that she always thought about me and I was the perfect guy that her sister didn't deserve. I told her I like her too and would like to start dating her if she'd have me. So that's where I am right now. Good job, good life, and I'm falling in love again. And I'm happy. I learned a lot from my experiences and want to share my inputs when I see posts put up. To let people know there is life after infidelity. To remind people it's never too late to start over. And more importantly, never settle for second best. It worked for me and it can work for them. Again, I'm sorry for how long it is. If you're still here, thanks for hearing me out. Our first comment comes from BadgerBrush20. What did C say or her parents say when you started dating the younger sister? OP responds, her folks, who I always got along with, were surprisingly supportive. Her dad's nickname for me was son-in-law, so when everyone found out about me and their youngest getting together, he said with a pat on my back, I got my son-in-law back. He really is a chill dude. Her mom was cool with A, my girlfriend's initial, being happy, but I could feel some tension with me. I think she always thought that C and I would work it out and get back together in the end. She's at least civil with me. C was pissed when she found out, started talking about how she had plans to win me back, but A wasn't having it. From what A told me, it got ugly. The eldest sister actually had to step in and stop them. Quahog1945 says, C will always be a pain in the butt for you and A. It's important for you and A to let C know that she's welcome to be part of your family as long as she's supportive of your current relationship and doesn't make any advances on you. Take it slow, be deliberate, and best of luck to you. OP responds, you're right about the family part. It's been so long since having to deal with her, but I don't want there to be any more conflict between A and C. I told A this, even suggested that maybe we should cool things off, but she said to me she wants a future with me and won't give us up. I told her I want the same, but we have to figure out how to go about this. Keep in mind, I still haven't seen C since our split, which is why I think C is going crazy. Her family is having some event at her house, which I'm invited, but that means I would see C again. She understood if I wanted to opt out, but I can tell she wants me with her, and I want to support my girl, so we're going together. I love her too much to disappoint her. I'll be careful, and thank you.